Hello and welcome to another episode of the Polo Punt Club Podcast. My name's Dan and I'm joined by my good mate Jonesy. How you going?
Mate, good. How are you?
Good, mate. I'm actually stoked because the podcast listeners won't actually know this, but we're on YouTube.
We're on YouTube.
Mate, baby steps. We're walking already.
We really are. And you know what? These two faces deserve to be on video. That's all I'll say.
Don't know about that.
Faces for radio or for podcasts.
Yeah, or both. You know
or
what?
both.
We'll let the listeners decide. Actually, let's let our early shout out to our listener in France.
Yeah, how's that?
Don't know how he found it, or she. Don't know how they found it, but gee whiz, they found it pretty early on. And yeah, let's go viral right across the world.
Polo Punt Club worldwide.
Yeah. Gee, we might have a special edition ARC episode at this stage. Look, doubtful in early markets, but we'll keep you updated. Alrighty, guys.
Terrible.
So basically what the episode's going to be about this week is we're just going to touch on some horses that caught our eye last weekend at the card at Caulfield. I think you've got a couple from some trials, don't you?
Yeah, I've got one from a trial and I've got another who actually raced in Sydney on the weekend, but
Yeah. Nice one. And then we'll go into our Polo Recipients for the week. So our top tier, middle tier and bottom tier. You really don't want to be in that bottom tier, do you? You
don't want the orange or the dreaded purple.
Yeah. Gee, we'll bring out a two-tone one week and it's going to be disgusting behaviour.
Imagine a two-tone like a Franken polo that's orange and purple.
I knew you were going to say that.
Did you? I surprised myself in saying that. So you know me better than I know myself by the sounds of that.
Yeah, we live together for too long. Then we'll just jump into some punting terminology. So that shouldn't take too long for you experienced punters out there, but it's not all about you. Then we'll go into a meeting preview at Randwick. So we're going to preview the entire card this week. Then we're going to do a deep dive into the main event.
The Winx Stakes.
The Winx Stakes, the mighty mare.
That keen.
And then we're just going to wrap it up with the juicy stakes as always. So, all right, mate, let's get stuck in. Who are the horses that caught your eye either last weekend or during the week at the trials?
Mate, one that I think you might have written down as well, and you gave me a shout out on Insta during the week on the Polo Punt Club Instagram profile. Thanks for that. Yeah. Cascadian. So we spoke about him last week on the podcast. He ran fourth in the PB Lawrence. Look, he had a wide barrier. He was at the back of the field the whole time, but came through the inside lane, and his closing sectionals were pretty impressive.
They were, and he's one that I've noted down as well. And I saw all the experts from like racing.com and stuff. They were knocking the race, and that's just because it was run so slowly. So those horses at the back of the field, like Regal Power, Cascadian, they didn't really have an opportunity to really go through their gears. And the other thing that I really liked about Cascadian's run was he was right on the fence. And that was definitely not the A1 ground. So
it certainly wasn't, no.
I thought he ran super first up. And he ran, what was it, the Cantala last year, I think, maybe, down at Derby Day where he ran a place.
He did, yep.
Out to 1,600, that's his trip. So, yeah, I'll definitely be looking at him if he gets out to 1,600.
Certainly, and yeah, exactly right. I think for a first up trip, I was impressed by that. I think, depending on the quality of the race, definitely one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, absolutely. Who else caught your eye, mate?
Mate, me and every other punter in Australia, and every non-punter in Australia as well, has probably seen footage of Nature Strips.
Who's that?
Who is Nature Strip?
Oh.
Yeah, look, his trial was I think he won by maybe 1,000 lengths.
At least
1,000.
Yeah, he put
about 1,000.
Put a race race course on him, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And look, he blitzed them in the TJ Smith in Sydney in the autumn. I think I was the only one who found him in the Polo Punt Club that day.
Yeah. Who was I on that day?
He's paying like $4 or $5 or something ridiculous. But look, he's one of those horses that, you know, if he's on, he is on, and he's a favourite for Everest at the moment. So
yeah, $3, and there's only 3 slot holders, and I think Geetra got a slot either end of last week or on the weekend or something. So, and mate, that horse has never raced out of the top 3. Like lightly raced in early days, he goes through his form, goes through his grades, but mate, he beat Nature Strip last prep. So yeah, he anyway, but yeah, Nature Strip, mate, he looks proper fit.
He does. He looked really good, and yeah, I'm gonna jump on him in the Everest for sure based on that.
You're gonna back him first up though. He's a bit of a cat first up, isn't he?
Yeah, look, I'll take him. We'll see. But yeah, so look, that caught my eye. And yeah, lastly, look, North Pacific won at Randwick.
Hard to miss.
Yeah, on the weekend. Yeah, very hard to miss. I think that was 1,000 lengths as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Group 3 race down there in Sydney. Look, he's nominated for the Golden Rose, the Cox Plate, and the Caulfield Guineas as well.
What, so you think he's going to knock off my boy Bo Rosser at 81s?
Oh, look, he's a chance, but
you're kidding.
But we'll see. Look, yeah, he caught my eye, and again, stating the obvious here, punters, but certainly horses to watch, and yeah, definitely bodes for an exciting spring,
doesn't it? So,
what about you, mate?
Another horse that caught my eye in the feature, and I just think he reminds me a lot of Hartnell, is Kingswell Dream.
Yeah. Yep.
He's always honest. He always really puts his neck out there. That was never going to be his right trip, 1400, but he just runs a sneaky race first up all the time. But I think he won the Turnbull last year, maybe out to 2000. He could do it again. He's going to feature in the weight for age races over further, with probably the Cox Plate as his main target. Don't necessarily think he'll win that, but he's going in my Joe Exotics each week.
Chuck him in the Joe Exotics. Yeah, he was good on the weekend, and yeah, great shout.
Yeah, the other one was in the last, and it's not showmanship. And
hello,
trust me, I'm backing it wherever it goes. But the third runner reminds me about my girl, Same Silks. Won at a huge price for me, the mighty Canedna.
Go on.
Juniper.
Yeah.
So this boy got gelded, and that was his first run back. And I think he ran a really nice third out wide, but he was coming back in the field from, I think, a similar spot to where showmanship was, even further back, and nothing was really making ground all day. So I think he's in for a great prep. Again, 1400's not his trip. He looks, from all reports, he's a changed horse now that he's been gelded, as they typically are.
But fundamentally changed.
Personality change. But yeah, I think he can run a really nice race, not necessarily Group 1 standard, but maybe Group 3, Group 2 standard. Out to a mile. He'd be light in at the weights as well, wherever he goes. So,
did you hear anything post-race from the trainers or anything like that?
Not from memory, I don't think, but like he just had a flashing light for me. And anything that wears the Canedna silks, it's a big bonus. Oh, look, yeah,
I know you like Canedna. You found it at some hectic prices before, so play on.
Yeah. Nah, if only I put more on her.
Mate, punter's remorse. Oh. There's two types of punter's remorse. There's, I shouldn't have backed that thing, or I shouldn't have whacked that thing.
Should have whacked it.
And then, should have whacked it, but it's what it is.
Alrighty, mate. So, yeah, all in all, pretty good weekend. I think there's definitely some to follow out of it. But yeah, we really get into the big boy stuff this weekend. But
Yeah, we are. Another good card this weekend.
yeah, alrighty. Polo Recipients, mate. Kick us off? Who are yours this week?
Mate, look, I'll start off with the top tier polo. I'm not going to give it the fabled. Actually, would you rate navy above grey, or do you reckon they're on par?
Nah, navy on top all day.
Yeah, I'd agree.
A nice, slightly faded too.
Yeah, bit of wear and tear.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to give it the fabled navy, but the grey is what I'm going to give it. So for those wondering, and it got a shout out the other episode, I'm a big Dragons fan. So there was a bit of an upset last weekend against the Eels.
Killed my multi.
Killed your multi. Look, I tipped them in the work comp and the family tipping comp. And yeah, look, 14-12 was the result. So whatever. But one thing that stood out to me after the game, Cam McInnes, the Dragons skipper, he had a really heartfelt speech and gave his jersey to Paul McGregor, that was his last game as coach. And look, I feel for Mary. He played for Illawarra before they merged with St. George. Passionate bloke, ripper of a bloke by all accounts. Look, as a coach, obviously a mixed record. Yeah, but you couldn't doubt his passion for the club. So, look, brought a tear to my eye, and it was a really good speech. And so I'm going to give that the top tier polo this week as a Mad Dragon supporter. So shout out.
Well, I'm going to stick on the topic of racing because a lot of people listening to this would be going like, what is this guy talking about? But you know what, punters? We're passionate about a lot of things, not just racing. So we might sneak in.
I see this segment as a slight deviation from racing.
Yeah. Oh, mate, I'm deviating in my bottom tier, so stay tuned.
All right, here we go.
But my top tier is the ride that Jamie Carr gave to Propel. So I can't remember who rode prior to the prep, but she finished fourth, and runner-up to Brooklyn Hustle. But Jamie Carr, she has the softest hands in the industry. Just hands and heels the entire time. Mate, she gave her an absolute peach.
Yeah, it was a great ride.
Best ride of the day at Caulfield, and yeah, I just thought she'd be able to get her to relax from the inside barrier, as we highlighted last week. So stay tuned, guys. But yeah, no, she gave her an absolute peach of a ride. So I think Jamie, well deserved, and like it's not a navy performance, but I'll give her a grey.
Mate, it's a good polo. Play on.
Yeah, alrighty, mate. Middle tier, far away.
Look, I'm going to give our podcast a middle tier polo. Podcast debut. I don't think it was a bad effort for a first podcast.
It definitely wasn't a disaster.
Certainly, and it's gone worldwide. We've had listeners in France,
and we just checked before, one in the US.
Yeah.
So shout out to those listeners. Yeah. Hit us up if you ever come into Brizzy in the next 5 years. But yeah. I think we did okay. We've taken the feedback, 360 degree feedback, mostly from us. That the sound quality was, it wasn't bad, but it just wasn't bloody loud enough.
Yeah, I wasn't talking into my mic, that's for sure. I forgot it was there.
Oh, mate, these things happen. But long story short, hopefully this is actually coming through your ears a little bit more and you don't have to whack it up to max. So, but yeah, thanks for tuning in for the second week. Hopefully we go bigger and better. And now we're on YouTube. So, we got it for your audio and your visual pleasure. All right, my middle tier, sticking to racing, is this Winx Stakes, mate. Cracking field. We get to see horses that are suited first up at the 1400. We get horses that are targeting the Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup, Cox Plate. Like, you just got everything. It's a licorice all sorts, but it's. I hate licorice, but I'd eat this bag.
It's a genuine box of favourites.
Oh, mate, it's a stunner. So they're getting a nice middle tier. I'm going to give them a crisp white.
Oh, play on. I think it's a great field.
Yeah.
I reckon I've backed every horse in the field at some point.
Yes.
As have you, probably.
Yeah. Not necessarily when they won, but I've backed them.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, mate. Let's get stuck into the bottom tier.
Right. Okay. Also, not really on the racing topic, but look, very, very close. It's something that's both of these people, I would imagine, are close to the racing sphere in some way or another. Well, not people, but you know what I mean. Anyways, so anyone who follows the Spin King, a certain Shane Keith Warne, on Instagram or any social media, or has been at a Chemist Warehouse recently.
SK23,
the new fragrance by Shane Warne.
Oh no,
greatest leg spinner of all time. Shout out Warnie. Obviously you're listening,
yeah,
or watching. So Warnie's released a fragrance. I heard it smells like freshly mown grass, meat pies.
Surely Winnie Blues.
Yeah. And if that's the sort of fragrance you're going for, it's certainly invest in that. It's available at Chemist Warehouse, so dig in. One I also saw throughout the week on Instagram, and it's gotten the plug from James Tedesco and Ben Hunt through the NRL on their Instagram page, is the new Victoria Bitter fragrance.
You're kidding.
100%.
This has not come across my desk.
Yeah, and the actual bottle itself is in the shape of a VB stubby,
That's brilliant.
which is play on.
Oh.
Look, it's play on, but I'm going to give it a bottom tier Polo, because you can't just have every Tom, Dick, and Harry jumping in the fragrance game.
You can't.
Us blokes are not supposed to smell like shit. We're just not. And I haven't smelled either of the fragrances, but it's not a purple Polo. But I tell you what, it's a solid orange.
Orange? I thought it would be a brown. That just makes sense, doesn't it?
I haven't seen a brown Polo before. Have you?
No, I haven't. But surely they're out there somewhere.
Actually, I've seen brown Polos post a big night when it was originally white, but now it's now it's covered in black rats. So the next day,
actually, now that you say that,
brown stains all over.
That reminds me of someone. Actually, you might know him as well. We used to live with him.
Who could you possibly be talking about?
Oh, yeah, gee.
Loves a black rat tally, that man.
Mate, imagine him on this podcast. He would have no idea what we're talking about.
I think we should bring him to the people and have that avenue, like let's bring a non-punter into the punting world and see if we can convert.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a challenge.
Alrighty, I'll be quick on my bottom tier punters, but it's actually, and this hurts me a bit because Jonesy is a big Dragons supporter. I'm a massive Lions supporter, Brisbane Lions. So Mitch Robinson made a bit of a blue this week, and Mitch, it wasn't his best moment, but in his defense, I think he forgot what he was actually doing, because it was actually during a live stream of a gaming session, because he's a pretty big gamer. And he just gave Tom Lynch from Richmond one of the great sprays that he's just a wanker pretty much. Yeah. And look, I don't necessarily disagree with Mitch, but if Tom Lynch was at our footy club, we'd be unstoppable. He's an absolute star, that bloke. So, Mitch, silly decision, mate.
Look, we love Mitch, love Robbo. The mouthguard throw the other week.
One of the great performances.
Yeah, way to tell a bloke you're not happy with him.
Forgot about that.
It's so funny. We love you, Robbo. But yeah, look, I don't think Richmond needs any more motivation to smack the Lions.
Especially when we're getting to the pointy end and,
don't want to come across them in the finals, that's for sure.
Oh, God. 10 years of absolute misery. Anyway, mate, let's get cracking. So we'll just move on to our punting terminology for the week. So used to hear this a few years ago, and I had no bloody idea what either Matty Hill or Darren Flindell were talking about. Off the bit.
Mm.
So this is basically when a horse is being hard ridden at any time during the race. So if a horse is off the bit before the straight, you're in real strife.
Yeah, it's basically when the horse is like they've like loosened the reins so the horse can just gallop
Yeah.
pretty freely. Yeah. So you'd hope it's in the last like few hundred meters. Yeah.
And you know who's quite good at this is actually keeping them on the bit. It's Jamie Carr again. Mate,
Soft hands, Jamie Carr.
Yeah, the softest hands in the business. But she, I rarely see her go for the whip. I don't know. It's, she's all hands and heels. But yeah, she gets them off the bit really late and gets them to relax right until when she needs them, hits the button, they explode. She's a star. Anyway, mate, enough of that. Let's get on to the entree before the main course. The meeting preview at Randwick. So let's get stuck into race 1. So race 1 at Randwick is just a 2,400 metre contest.
Yeah, it's a nice long one to start us off.
Yeah, benchmark 78 handicap. So who did you decide on, and give me a reason why?
Look, to be honest, I'm not going to whack this race, but I like the number 4 home ground. So look, at time of writing, about $5 for home ground.
I see $5.50 on my screen right now.
Yeah, well there you go. Look, it's dropping in weight. It's up in distance. I think it's ready for the trip. Look, in terms of this particular race, its form versus some of the other horses, I think, Reed's pretty similar. I'm not a massive fan of Desert Path in this.
Well, I am.
I thought you would be.
I just think, I'll let you finish. Keep going.
Oh no, look, that's pretty much it, man. Like I'm not massively sold on this race in general, but I'll have a dig at home ground. The other horse that I didn't mind the look of at odds is the number 7 True Marvel. Paying $14 as we speak right now. Look, its last start was in Newcastle. It was a longer race, but held on there to win. Doesn't mind a wet track. And one certain Miss Kathy O'Hara on the back of it.
I think she has a couple of rides, actually. I think I backed her in one of the other legs.
Yeah, so look, I didn't mind that as well. So, yeah, it's one of those races for me. I'll have a bit of a dig, but, I might chuck a little each way on number 7 True Marvel. Might chuck a little each way on number 4 home ground.
Could be worse, mate. Yeah, I haven't really buried the lead, have I? Desert Path. I just think that was his first win in 10 months. I think a lot of the time when horses break through for that first time after a long spell, they can put a couple together.
Keep it going.
He appreciates the distance, like he won at the distance last start. He doesn't mind the sting out of the track. He's drawn well. Like, he doesn't need to get that far back from the inside draw, and a small field anyway. It's going to be within earshot of them, so I don't think it's really going to be that risky. I don't think. I think he'll run into the money, but I'm the same as you, mate. I'm not too keen on that race. Alrighty, race 2.
Mate, speaking of not keen on races, literally my notes say yuck. So that gives you any indication I'm not that keen. Look, if I was to have a bit of a dig, I think I'd be on Pinnacle Prince.
I didn't even see that horse.
Yeah, look, he's only won once because he's only run once.
But okay, a favourite in a highway. That's a bold strategy,
mate. You know what? Sometimes you just have to go big.
Yeah,
go big or go home. But yeah, look, I had a look at this race. You can't really draw too many form lines because some of the horses haven't raced a lot. So
this is another Rubik's Cube in horse racing, the highways in Sydney.
They are.
You know what they should be, and I did tease this to you. I think that highway races in Sydney should be renamed to the Winnie Blue Stakes. Because they are a genuine dartboard every single week.
Hello? What do you mean, Winnie Blues?
Dartboard, mate.
Dartboard. Yeah, look, that's good. That's a good shout. The Winnie Blue Stakes.
Yeah.
Actually, what we should do for a future podcast is try and find funnily named races.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I could not agree more.
Yeah, let's do that.
Well, what they rename one of them a couple of years ago? The Colgate White Steaks. Oh, God, honestly, you don't need to sponsor everything, guys. But my best roughie of the day actually comes in this race. I found one.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, and trust me, it's not a like put in put out job, but I think it can run a good race. Is number 12 Scara Bray. This mare, last 2 starts, has run the best last 600 sectional and the best, I think, last 200 in the race prior.
Right, okay.
Her last start on soft ground was over 900 metres, probably in lesser grade than a highway, which is hard to believe. But she actually won by over 3 lengths at 900 metres.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I think she has some sort of turn of foot. So I think she's drawn quite well, can sit midfield. The drying track's going to help her. Mate, she'll give you a side at $11.
Mate, $11, you know what? That's a real throw at the stumps type price.
Yeah, it is.
And if you find it, play on.
Absolutely. Alrighty. Race 3 on your programs is a 1,600 metre benchmark 78 handicap. Mate, who have you got on top?
Mate, look, it looks a pretty even race for mine. There's a fair few chances in it. I'm going to back our boy Bjorn Baker in with number 3, Frosty Rocks. I backed it last start. It ran okay. And I think its form coming into this race, yeah, look, it's pretty good. You know what? I think because it is such an even race, I wouldn't mind having something that's a little bit into its prep rather than sort of being first up. So again, I'm not going to have a big whack, but I think a nice little
teaser.
A nice little teaser. It is well and truly into its prep,
isn't it?
It is. But no, look, I'll back our boy Bjorn in. We like Bjorn.
We do. He's good on social media, actually.
Is he?
I was going to bring one in the prior segment, the caught our eye. He had one. It's on his Instagram, actually. It'd be one of his last 2 or 3 posts. This thing tried up quickest times of the day. It's either racing next Wednesday or next Friday. I forget what the name of it is, but have a look on his Instagram. And yeah, black book that bad boy. I'm really against Frosty this week. I backed him last time as well. I just don't think he runs out the distance. He looked like he struggled out to the 1,500, and this is a 1,600 metre contest, so I don't think he'll run it out. But mate, I won't go against you.
Well, sounds like you are.
Even though I am.
It sounds like that's exactly what you're doing, mate.
That's exactly what I'm doing. But I've gone the king, new king. Like it's definitely a name that you can really get behind at a pub. Run him down, King.
Go King. Go King. And one random bloke's like, go New.
That's so true.
Look, J-Mac on the back, for that reason alone,
yeah,
the form that bloke's in.
Mate, well named, actually. Our side by Frankel, new king. That's not bad, because Frankel was the king of horse racing over in Europe. But anyway, I was really impressed by this bloke's win last start on the heavy, over 1,500 metres. Looked in a world of pain heading into the straight, but J-Mac just gave him a master steer. I think the wide barrier, I reckon he'll probably go back, but J-Mac will have all the options in front of him, and I reckon he'll give him a good steer. So with the king in the third. Alrighty, mate. Fourth race on the program is 1,200 metres Group 2 race. So this is one of the features of the day. Personally, I think this is a race between 2 girls myself, but who have you gone for?
Number 5, September Run.
I did have that in my numbers too, so I lied. 3. Talk me through it.
Look, so it won up here in the Sunshine State back in April in the Bill Carter 2-year-old filly plate.
Yep.
And there's a few winners from that race that September Run got the best of. So in that race, a filly called Got a Kiss ran third.
Stealing my notes.
And then ran second to a horse named Rothfire in the JJ Atkins.
Mate, if you look at the website right now, so side note punters and YouTube viewers, you can go to our website, thepolopunter.com, and we have a preview and review of all cards that we preview on the podcast. So this week it's Randwick. I've literally written that down word for word.
Well, mate, great minds think alike. At the time of writing that, it was $11. It's come in just to tens, but much for muchness. I think it's a great shout at that price. I'm going to have a good whack at September Run. I think, look, the fact that Got a Kiss thing ran second to Rothfire and the JJ Atkins. Look, there's a couple of things going against September Run. Obviously, it's had a trial down in Sydney, but hasn't run an actual race. But
it's drawn a little bit awkwardly.
It has.
J-Mac, Chris Waller, and it's in the Autumn Sun Silks as well, which is awesome.
That was the last thing I was going to mention. TAS, T-A-S. Mate, those silks,
goat
silks,
so good. There's always a South Sydney supporter somewhere, isn't there? Oh, the bloody jockeys, mate. They're all over the place. But
yeah.
The other two that I think are a real red hot crack in this race is the 1 Dame Giselle and the 3 See You Soon. I think Dame Giselle has drawn horrifically. I think she's going to go mad. She's going to get a torrid run from that gate. So I'm not keen to back her, but I am keen to back See You Soon. So the form lines that these two fillies have is through away game. And I was following her right throughout the autumn. It'll be interesting to see if she actually comes back as good as she was, actually. They absolutely throttled her during the autumn, so I wouldn't be surprised if she died in the arse. But
I hope it doesn't die.
Gosh, neither do I, but you never know with these young horses.
Yeah.
But I think she's the one. She's tried up quite nicely as well during the last couple of weeks. But I'm having her in a Quinella with September Run. So I'm absolutely singing from the same hymn book there, mate.
Excellent.
Righty. Race 5.
Mate, this is a great race.
It is, yeah. Group 3. Jeez.
Yeah, Group 3. Look, there's some really good horses. Look, there's a clear standout for mine. One horse, which we both like, the number 3 Fun Star. Look, I think, $2.90 at the moment. Geez, that's a great price for that horse.
You know what that is? Fill up.
Fill up. Look, I think it's the class horse in this race. Alongside Probabile. The back end of Probabile's last prep was a little bit disappointing, and I think Probabile wants further.
Yeah.
I think Fun Star's a great shout in this. I also just want to keep an eye on In and Up and Rohirrim as well. I don't think they'll win this, but I want to keep an eye on them. I might even chuck... I'll probably chuck something on Fun Star on the schnoz, and then have a nice little box try with Fun Star, Probabile, In and Up, Rohirrim, and maybe even special reward as well. But
won't get much back from that.
Yeah, you'd get a lot back if you put thousands on it though, which I plan on doing. I think Fun Star wins up.
Yeah. It's interesting in this as well as Len Romain. He's absolutely friendless in the market, but he hasn't raced he's had one race in about 40 weeks. So he's clearly not the horse he used to be, but mate, if he got up, I wouldn't be surprised at $26. But yeah, mate, Fun Star is the one for me. She looks one of the better bets of the day. I think Probabile, she'll have a flashing light, but this is just too short for her. She wants to be out to 1,800, 2,000. I think the trainer was saying they might target the Cox Plate with her. So,
okay.
I think she's just in for a bigger and better prep. I think it's between those two, to be honest. But Fun Star for me, I think she's got the bigger upside at this stage of her prep. Righty, into the quaddie, mate. First leg, 1,100, Group 3. Fillies and mares.
Mate, my bet of the day, Adelong.
Okay.
Number 6, Adelong. Look, distance, 5 from 7, winner. The other 2 were seconds.
Tick.
Let me find some other little ticks for you. Doesn't mind the wet.
Yeah. No, that's a big tick, especially
tick?
in Sydney.
Okay, all right. So I've got 2 ticks at the moment.
2. 1, 2.
It's a leader, right?
Leader, tick.
Who's on the back of it?
J-Mac, I'm assuming.
No,
Timmy
mate.
Clark.
Timmy
I
Clark.
thought J-Mac wrote it last collect.
I think
prep.
actually he might have.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, right. Timmy Clark.
Can Timmy Clark ride leaders?
Yes.
3 ticks. 3 ticks for Adelong.
That's all you need.
$2.10 at the moment. Stupid price.
Jeez.
Yeah. Remortgage your house.
Oh, he's done it again.
I've done it again.
Jeez.
Lucky it came through last week.
Lucky you have loads of mortgages.
I have so many mortgages. So many. Look, I think it's a class in this race. A lot of ticks. I think launch into it.
Yeah, I've tipped her on top as well. Like $2.10. It's kind of hard to avoid her, but I thought Sweet Deal might be a little bit of value in the race, but she really needs a dry track, which you're just not going to get in Sydney. But
I thought it was the danger, but yeah,
it's windy. It is sunny down there. If they manage to get it to like a soft 5, maybe she could feature. But I think Adelong on top for me as well. Alrighty, we're gonna skip the Winx and let's get into race A because we're going to go into a bit of a deep dive into the Winx.
We're just gonna dive in and just wade around in the Winx stakes for a while. Just get real deep.
Like. Alrighty, mate. Who do you have on top for race 8?
I've got the number 11 Canane on top.
Yep.
Look,
Bradley as well. Bradley has him on. It's his best of the day.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of that. Shout out, Brad. Look, Canane, $5.50 at the time of riding. Prefers softer. It's trialled okay. It's drawn okay, but I think J-Mac on the back, from that barrier, I think that's fine. I'm on Canane. I don't really have much more to say. I think the obvious danger in this race is Minted, but I think Canane's more proven.
Yeah. Well, I'm on the danger. I'm on Minted. So, mate, super lightweight, 52 kegs.
That's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah, and I feel like the form behind Tallier, that Godolphin thing, that looks pretty smart. And the other one's Varda, who just beat Masked Crusader.
Yeah.
I feel like that's pretty red hot form.
Yeah.
So, it can handle a heavy to an extent, like placing on a heavy and a soft. It's drawn pretty well. Why not jump on with Cousin Robbie on board?
Cousin Robbie.
Yeah, shout out to you, Dollab. But I think Minted will give you a great shout. But yeah, Canane, mate, he's definitely the class. But you'd hope he would be when the owners knocked back $3 million from Hong Kong.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, when when he won that one at Randwick, that Group 3 where he beat Bottega and Intente, whatever, that thing that you punted on in the autumn.
Yeah.
After that, they knocked back like $2 or $3 million.
I wasn't aware of
Hong Kong,
that. Gee whiz.
So they want to get their money back somewhere, but he was the hype horse at one stage, but it's gone a bit cold. Anyway.
Colding.
Jeez. All right. Into the get out stakes, punters. The last of the day. 1200, benchmark 78. Another one. Handicap. Alrighty. Mate, I don't know about you, but I found this pretty bloody tough.
I found it tough, and that's why I backed a horse I've backed plenty of times before.
I think we're singing again.
Are we? Number 9, Ice Bath.
Yep, I've got it on top as well.
Yeah, so look, I backed it each way when it finished second or third to one of your sneaky favourite horses, IndyCar.
Start your engines. Now, that horse did get sold to Hong Kong, and it's actually been trained by David Hayes over there now. So
okay, yeah.
I really liked that horse. And
You
it's
did.
a crying shame that it's not here anymore. But yeah.
Greener pastures?
You'd hope so. But look, I don't mind watching the races at Hong Kong every now and then. I'm not going to lie. I'm a closer watcher of the Australian races. So I would have preferred if he stayed here, but you know.
Yeah. How often would you say you're sober when you're watching the Hong Kong races? Actually, no. I'll rephrase that question. How often do you think you're sober when you're punting on the Hong Kong races?
See, well, they're typically on a Sunday, so I'm usually hungover when I'm watching the Hong Kong races. Just a little pick me up, you know.
Yeah, play on. You've got the fear. You've got the Sunday scaries.
Yeah.
And the only way you can get out of the hole is to punt.
Yeah. Well, that's my thoughts anyway. Mate, I had the exact same thoughts. Ice Bath, behind Dawn Passage and IndyCar. Dawn Passage, though, that was the favourite in the Stradbroke. People forget about that. I feel like, yeah, the $5.50 on offer for it is a pretty stupid price. The other one I was looking at, and if it stays down in Sydney, which I doubt, is Bet You're Flying is number 5. I thought sneaky chance based off its trial, and ran behind Subpoenaed, who's a pretty good horse, but they were trialling it at the Gold Coast, so I'm assuming it's non for the Gold Coast, so I'm assuming it's going there, but where it's like a $3 favourite up in Brisbane. So what was the race that ran second in? Yeah. Ran in the Oaks down in Adelaide, so like didn't do anything, but you know, it's a Group 1, so this is benchmark 78, so
yeah, I'd say it's a different class in a Group 1.
Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is. Alrighty. This is what the punters have been waiting for, mate.
That's what I've been waiting for, mate. Let's be
Alrighty.
honest.
The big cheese herself, Winx. The Winx Stakes punters, the first Group 1 of the season, Waif Rage over 1,400. I can't wait for this. I think there is, as I said before, there's a stack. I feel like, back Dreamforce, back the Bostonian, Avilius, Fierce Impact Golding, Master of Wine, Nick and Nova, Cat, Star of the Seas, Quackerjack. I bet on all of them.
I reckon I've bet on every single one of these horses. Cracking field. And yeah, geez, what a way to start off an early Group 1. What a way to start off the season.
Absolutely. Okay, I feel like the best place to start in these contest punters is to look at the speed map, and I think there's a couple that they cry out from the page already from me that get a absolute gun run, and one that's in a little bit of trouble that's pretty well in at the market. So I think number 1 and 2 in the market on the form. Dreamforce, the top weight, he's drawn out wide, but he does have Quackerjack on his inside, and I feel like that might drive him a little bit mad. He might get a bit of a torrid run because both like to sit on speed. And I feel like he might have to sit 3 wide the trip, and for that reason, I think he's one of the good winning chances, and if he drawn low, he'd be an each way bet all day of the week, but I reckon he just might get a bit tired fresh because of that barrier. The other one that I think's drawn splendidly is the Bostonian.
It sure has.
Now, this boy absolutely flies fresh. He likes to sit up in the running. He likes to sit on speed, but either he can lead or he can just sit off speed as well, just behind the leaders. And I think that's what he'll do here. He'll let the others go mad up front, and then he'll just take a sit and run right over the top of them. That's what I hope anyway. But yeah, mate, they're the two that I think have drawn the worst and the best in the field. But the other ones that I thought, and we both punted on this girl in both of the Group 1s that she won, Conte Patiro, she's drawn next to the Bostonian. She sits on speed as well, but I feel like this is just just short of her best, and this is the first time she's gone in Group 1 against the boys. So
yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to watch her this race, and not have a go. I agree. I think $11 is a fair price for it at the moment.
Can't jump in at that.
No.
And like, you're getting $11 for Melody Bell in this race.
Yeah, well, like you said on the podcast last week, mate, Melody let us down a little bit with her below average run, but again, her first up profile isn't spectacular.
Never knock a champion.
Never knock a champion. Well, what's her record in Group 1s? Like 10 from 19 or something?
Yeah,
So she's clearly a classy mare. Again, prefer to watch. Like,
we highlighted Imaging last week as well, but I think the barrier's just going to beat him as well. I feel like you backed him in the Doncaster this year, where I think he drew a pretty similar barrier and it just defeated him. I feel like if he drew inside, it'd go pretty close, but yeah, I think I definitely want to be on the Bostonian in this race. I think he's a cracking each way bet. Horses like Avilius, Master of Wine, very elegant, and Melody Bell probably have bigger targets in mind for the spring, so I don't think they'll be fully wound up. Brad's tipped Master of Wine on top, and I could totally see him winning, but like, they're talking Caulfield Cup with that horse.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. I couldn't have said it better myself. I think some of these horses will certainly feature deeper into the spring. I'm with you 100%. I think the Bostonian is a ripper at that price, and you know, first up record 6 from 7, drawn well. You know, I think he'll sit nicely and swoop at the end from the inside. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, beautiful. Alrighty.
Want to also highlight Colding, because I love that horse, and his last prep was an absolute shocker. So look, if he runs it, he's drawn wide as. I think he's drawn Penrith,
hasn't he? What? Jeez.
But I just want to see how he goes, because if he runs a decent race, I just want to see him have a good prep, because his last prep was really disappointing. So.
Well, he just doesn't go a yard on a heavy. This is going to be probably in the soft 6-ish range, which I think he might have won a Group 1 on the soft, thinking back. Yeah, he won the Epsom last year on a soft, so where he beat the Shark, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the other one I love. I love all these horses, but Fierce Impact, I have a real soft spot for that boy.
Great horse. Oh, mate.
Yeah.
VE.
They're absolutely desperate to get a weight for age win for Group 1 this prep for Fierce Impact, because he's still a stallion.
Yep.
He's got 2 Group 1s at a handicap, so I think he'll be cherry ripe wherever he goes. It's just 1,400 for me is not the distance for him. But yeah, in summary, mate, the Bostonian.
The Bostonian. We're both going to back it.
All right.
It feels good.
It does.
To start off the Group 1s.
The one last thing I'll say on him is there's about, 12 spots in the Everest maybe up for grabs.
Yeah.
If you take out Godolphin and the win and you're in ones, maybe let's say 8 spots.
Yep.
Tony Pike, his trainer over in New Zealand, is adamant that he's an Everest horse. So I reckon they're going to be rock hard fit wherever they go. He's not going to run a bad race because they want to get him into the $15 million feature.
Oh, I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all.
No.
Yeah, great shout. Just another feather in his cap for this race, I think,
isn't it? All right. What is he? 750. Stupid stuff. Alrighty, punters. We're getting into the best bet segment now. So the juicy stakes. So last week, so each week we're gonna raise some money for Living Legends as well. So Jonesy and I are gonna put our best bets into an all up. We'll chuck $10 on it. Hopefully we get it over the line. We put all the proceeds to Living Legends, who look after all the previous champions of Australian and I think international as well, horse racing. Tommy Melbourne's down there. Shout out to Tommy. But yeah.
Hope you're well, mate.
So we'll do that with our best bets. But before we get to that, mate, let's get into our best roughie of the day. And you've mentioned something to me at an enormous price.
Well, look, at the time of writing, when I was tapping away on my laptop.
Tickling the ivories?
Yeah, I was. Last night, it was $51. Look, it opened at about 34s, and I think it's back to about 34s. Anyway, so we're not in Randwick anymore, Dan. We're at Moonee Valley, which is not our favourite track.
The Valley of Death.
To have a go at. Race 8, number 6, Fine Dane.
You're taking on my girl, Brooklyn Hustle.
I am. But look, again, it's a roughie for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Look, it's 3 from 4 first up. It's resuming. 2 wins from 5 starts at the track at the distance. Drawn well.
So it handles it.
It handles the valley. Drawn well. So look, I think it's 100% worth in each way.
Stack of speed in this race too, which suits him.
Exactly.
Mate, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm in Brooklyn Hustle's cheer squad, but I'm actually a little bit against her in this race. And I think she is more than capable of going on to one of the Group 1s at the Valley over the spring over 1,000 or 1,100.
Yeah, agree.
I think she's that type. She's got that good a turn of foot. But barrier 2's not a positive for her, I don't think. And the wet track is not positive for her either. And it's just the rain's coming down in Melbourne. So, yeah, I think Fine Day's not a bad shout, mate. But I hope Brooklyn wins and proves me wrong. But I think, you could take a set against her this weekend. So, and you got the muddy marvel himself, Jungle Edge, up on the toppy. So
shout out Jungle Edge.
Yeah,
we're a fan. Look, I think for a roughie, I think the form reads quite well, especially at Moonee Valley, mate. Like Moonee Valley is a tough track to pick a winner on on the best at the best of times. So. I'll have a little sneaky each way.
Mate.
My thing last week, Sound. Look, it didn't feature in the top 3.
Okay. It ran 5th or so.
5th or something.
Yeah,
so it wasn't a terrible race.
It wasn't, but look, I think he's running the last 2 Melbourne Cups. So the 1,400 or whatever he was at was probably not his distance.
It probably wasn't, but that's why he was a roughie. Do you know who he should have asked for a roughie last week?
Oh. Mate, we should just bring... All right, I reckon you and I are probably the best each-way punters in our punt club. Macca, hands down, is the best roughie punter.
100%.
Brad is probably... He finds the shorties, but he's pretty consistent. And then, Dolab, you can chuck him into all of your exotics because whatever he backs runs second.
Yeah, look, Dolab, and he this won't offend him at all because he says it himself all the time. And he can pick a second.
Mate, our celebrity punter in our punt club as well, mate, he can find him at a price.
Celebrity punter.
So he's gonna feature in our Group 1 tally throughout the season, but he doesn't necessarily he doesn't follow it as closely as us, but he got us.
To be honest, it's probably better.
Yeah. He got us shout the bar. He got us that quaddie in the autumn, which was massive stuff. So we'll bring him to the people as well. First time this weekend. But alrighty. Best roughie for me is in the Winnie Blues Stakes, as I said. That
the Winnie Blues Stakes. Let's just remember to call the highway from now on the Winnie Blues Stakes.
Absolutely. Scara Bray. I think she's been crying out for better grounds, and she's shown a better turn of foot over softer or good tracks. Mate, when you put them away by 3 lengths, regardless of grade, you still got to beat who you got to beat. Over 900 metres, big tick for me. So I think she'll feature. Your best each way, mate.
Mate, we spoke about it a fair bit. Race 4, number 5, September Run. I think... Look, there's a few dangers in that race, but I think the form coming out of that win that it had up here in Doomben certainly shows that it's a horse with some class. Yeah. And at that price, $11, I think that's a really decent each way bet. I'll have a throw at the stumps. Why not?
Yeah, I'm definitely keen to take it in a Quinella. So Yeah, I'll be praying for that to run a place. Top 2. But my best each way of the day is the Bostonian in the feature. I think.
Yeah, play on.
Like, stacked field, but he has to race well if he wants an Everest spot. No ifs, buts about it. He'll be fully wound up. His profile says that he will be 6 out of 7 first up.
Yeah, I'd say that profile indicates that he doesn't mind resuming.
Yeah, he likes it fresh. So yeah, that's where I sit on that. So, alrighty. So the living legends, mate, they're going to be wanting to know what our best of the day is.
Yeah, look, the living legends will be keeping a very close eye on this podcast. If you want to watch it, it's on YouTube, Living Legends.
I've tagged you on Instagram. You still haven't hit me up yet. So whenever you're ready, guys. But this is money in your back pocket, all right?
We're making a difference, $10 at a time.
So, yeah, hopefully So the running tally, punters, is $10 because we lost. So if we lose, we chuck the $10 in there anyway. So we have it on our Twitter bio and our Instagram, our running tally. It's sitting pretty at $10. But let's bump it up this week, mate. Who you got on top?
Mate, best bet, race 6, number 6 in Sydney, Adelong.
Hard to go past.
Yeah, look, I just think it's the class in the race. So many ticks. There was 3, I think. 3 ticks did we talk about?
Timmy Clark
on a leader.
Distance. Soft track.
Wet track.
Bang.
Yeah, I think $2 is a great price for it.
Tick, tick,
Jump on, boys.
Mate, we're just going to lob Adelong in with Funstar. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, nice.
And you know what we'll get for that? We'll get about $6 just by the basic maths in my head right now.
Mate, Living Legends will be happy with the 60.
Mate, they need about $500,000 to keep going each year. So every little bit helps. Punters, if you want to get involved, by all means, share it on your socials, share the Polo Punt Club, and we'll share it for you as well. But I think, every little bit helps them. But I think Funstar, mate, this weekend, she looks awfully hard to beat.
Yeah, agreed. Do we take the winnings, the $60, and chuck it on a quaddie in Belmont, and then use the winnings for that?
Look, that is a. Look, I like your thinking, but to be honest, without Pikey there, I'm a bit hesitant. And we did that last time when we were on a weekend away recently. We got more than our money back. Definitely. 6 of us in, we got put in like $20. We got about $50 back each. Nothing. Oh no, it was like 100 each actually.
Yeah.
So, not bad. Chucked it all into a Belmont quaddie, went wide as, knocked out in the first leg. So that's punting though.
Hindsight's a beautiful thing, and look, I would have minded the money back.
We had a belly full of piss. And it wasn't our best time for judgment calls.
I was full to the brim with piss.
Yes.
And look, I shout out Macca, had a combo on that day on my Randwick quaddie picks.
Yes.
And
3 from 4, didn't
3
you?
from 4. So look, I was up comfortably. Shout out Macca.
Mate, I'm glad the punters know that you were up that day, all right? I always like to look forward, not back. But I do like to look back occasionally. All right.
Oh yeah, one of the few times I was up.
One thing that we got from racing.com is the Let It Ride segment from Get On. So we actually started this last week and we forgot to chuck it in. So the idea is that you just find anything at a price. It could be $1.05, $1.10. You just chuck each amount that you win each week onto that and you just got to keep letting it ride.
And we started with $50.
We started with $50. Jonesy chucked it on showmanship. But on the schnoz.
On the schnozzer.
Big high testosterone maneuver that.
Yeah, look, I was nervous. I'm not going to lie.
Especially when stuff wasn't running on.
Yeah, it was my best of the day, but I was nervous.
Mate, at least we got our best of the day over the line. We didn't even touch on that. Anyway.
Yeah.
So now it comes to me for Let Ride this week.
Yeah, we're doing it in order of birthdays in the Polo Punt Club, and I'm the oldest.
I didn't even know that, but kind of makes sense.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, right. Anyway,
that's the order.
I'm up this week, and I'm going Funstar to place. Easy as that.
Yeah, so we put the 50 on showmanship. I think we got it at $1.80 or something like that.
We jumped on early. We should have gone late.
I didn't think it would drift.
No, but the pattern certainly didn't help that. But yeah, Funstar at what it'd be $3, be about $1.30, $1.40. You know, we'll get 130, 140 back. And then we'll be playing on to Bradley next week, and he can find something at a short price. So I'd be shocked if we were to miss out next week. Well, we have to get through this week, don't we?
I was just about to say, mate. Oh no, that's an omen. That's not a good one.
I'll just halve my bet. But anyway. Anyway, guys, that's the episode this week. If you're picking up what you're putting down, give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at the Polo Punt Club. We're also on YouTube now, if you haven't heard us say it for about 5 times this episode, but Polo Punt Club as well. So we chucked up the first 2 episodes on there, but yeah, you can watch this episode now as well. And we're across all different podcasting apps now, so you can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcast. So jump on. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week, but happy punting.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.